let's start with working with scale. Now, scale is the relationship between a distance on a drawing, model, or map and the actual distance. Scales are used on maps, construction blueprints, instructions to build a car model, sewing patterns, to name a few. Now, we always write scale as a ratio, where the length of the drawing, model, or map comes first, and then we write the actual length. So, for example, a scale of 1 centimeter to 1 meter means that 1 centimeter on the diagram, model, or map represents 1 meter of the actual size. Now, for example 1, it says a model of a sailboat is 9 inches long, and the actual length of the boat is 32 feet. Part A wants us to convert 32 feet to inches. Now, in Unit 1, we learned about conversions and the fact that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. So we'll use that to help us convert 32 feet to inches. So now multiply by 12 inches over 1 foot so that the units can cancel. Now I need to multiply 32 by 12, which gives me 384 inches. So now for the scale, I'll start by writing the length on the model first, which is 9 inches. And then I'll write the actual length of the boat, which is 384 inches. Now you can think of scale as a fraction, and that we should always try to reduce. Now 9 and 384 are not divisible by 9, but they are divisible by 3. So if I divide each of these numbers by 3, I get a scale of 3 to 128. Now part C says on the model, the mast is 6 inches high. What is the height of the mast on the actual boat? So we're going to set up equivalent ratios here. So we'll start by writing the scale, 3 to 128. Now let's remember what this represents. 3 is the distance on the model, and 128 represents the distance of the actual boat. Now I'm going to set that equal to the height of the mast, which is 6, and the height of the actual boat, which I'll say is x. So now to solve for x, we need to determine how many times 3 goes into 6. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. So since 3 is multiplied by 2, in order to find x, I need to multiply 128 by 2. So let's do that down here. 128 times 2 is 256. So we can say that the actual height of the mast is 256 inches. Now for example 2, it says the map below has a scale 3 centimeters to 8,000 kilometers. So that means a distance of 3 centimeters on the map corresponds with 8,000 kilometers of the actual distance. So now it says if the width of Australia on the map is 1.5 centimeters, what is the actual width? So when I placed my ruler on the map, at the widest point of Australia, I got 1.5 centimeters. So what is the actual width? So let's set up our ratios. 3 centimeters to 8,000 kilometers equals 1.5 centimeters to x. So x is the actual width, which I don't know. So to start, we need to figure out 3 times what is 1.5. Now in order to do that, we can divide. 1.5 divided by 3 is 0.5. So in order to find x, we just need to multiply 8,000 by 0.5. So We'll do that here. 8,000 times 0.5 is 4,000. So I'm going to say that the actual width is 4,000 kilometers. And now for example 3. Kara wants to copy a picture of her dog that is 15 centimeters wide and 20 centimeters long. If she uses a scale of 3 to 2, what are the dimensions of her photocopy? So now we need to set up two ratios here. One for the width of the photocopy and then one for the length. So we'll start by writing out her scale, which is 3 to 2. So 2 represents the actual distance on the picture, where 3 represents the length on the photocopy. So now we set that equal to x to 15, because 15 is the actual width of the picture, and then x is the width of the photocopy, which is what I'm looking for. So now let's figure out what 15 divided by 2 is. That is 7.5. So to find x, I multiply 3 by 7.5. So 3 times 7.5 is 22.5. So that is the width of the photocopy. Now what's the length? Let's set up a similar ratio. I'll use a different variable this time because I already used x. And the length of the picture is 20 centimeters. So now 2 times what is 20? That's 10. So to find y, I just need to multiply 3 times 10. 3 times 10 is 30. So that's the length of the photocopy. So we can say that the dimensions of the photocopy are 22.5 centimeters by 30 centimeters.